brought you into this film.
Yes, my name is Thomas from Gronde. I wrote, produced, and did the cinematography for this film.
Hi, I am Dennis Alink. I'm the director, writer, and producer. And thank you all for that lovely applause.
My name is Jefferson, and I play one of the actors, and I made a little bit of music for the movie.
My name is Bas, and I play the role of Tom.
The film is so beautifully bookended, I think, for starting off with Ajani's kind of coming out moment, and then ending with Tom's kind of coming out moment. But so much of the film is not actually about that. It's about them exploring not how they're talking to straight folks, so to speak, but really how they're living and figuring themselves out in the queer world. And I'm curious how you kind of came to this story. Like, what was the origin of this for you guys?
Basically, there is a lot of things are made up. A lot of things are autobiographical. So, well, welcome to Amsterdam.
Yeah, it started by this idea that we had, that we thought of Amsterdam when we moved there as film students, like our characters did, as being this place where it's a magic fairy tale and everybody can be precisely who they are, and it's heaven and you can be super free. And we realized that for some people it is, and for others it isn't at all. And we thought it would be interesting to see it dramatized in a relationship between two men, or one is really comfortable and the other is not.
For both of you, there's a real arc and a real journey that you're both on, but it's very different ones. I'm curious what kind of challenges that you had as you were kind of going through the whole process.
For me, it's always sort of intuitive. Yes. So it was a pretty long process. The whole film we done like 2 years.
Filming?
Yeah, of filming. So yeah, I think it just happened. Sort of.
For me, I guess what was challenging is that I was still studying at the time. So I'm studying drama and contemporary music theater, which is actually the art of acting. And I think what was hard is that I felt that during filming, I got into another development of my own in school, and that, yeah, I felt like parts of the movie didn't have that development yet, and parts of the movie did. So I guess that was a challenge for me.
And I mean, first I have to say this is just cinematically gorgeous. The music. At what point did you figure out, oh, we want to do this in black and white? And what was the choice that was kind of behind that?
Yeah, we've been on many ideas. At one point we had the idea to shoot the whole film on an iPhone. I'm really glad we didn't. There's nothing fun about that, just don't do it. And the lens is super wide and everything is in focus. What we decided is, we both did 4 feature-length documentaries before, so that was our experience, and this is our fiction debut. So we wanted to bring that documentary quality to the screen, and we realized that we could capture a cinematic quality in reality. Like, we could embrace reality when we were working with black and white. So we worked with a documentary team. Our sets were super, super small. Like, every day was a closed set, you know. That means there weren't any people to send away. When we had a sex scene, there was nobody to send away because our crew was so damn small. You know? That's how it went. And along the way, we noticed that the more we embraced reality, the better it got. In the beginning, we blocked our shots, so we had blocking, so you would have a shot of one character talking, and then you cut to the other character talking. And quite early on, we discovered that if we just pan back and forth, and as if the camera doesn't know what's going to happen next, that would work so much better and would bring that documentary realism to the screen.
I'd love to open it up to questions. Do we have questions from out in the crowd? Yes.
How central was the music to the film? Like, was that from the beginning you knew what music you wanted in the transitions? And
That's a good question. As a matter of fact, in the beginning we wanted Gronde. This is this Swiss band from the early 80s, but they didn't make music anymore. So we were searching for what is the right tone, what is actually the musical equivalent of the inside world of Tom. And then we were filming in Berlin, and we were in a setting up in a club, and then we heard some music and
It sounded pretty German.
it sounded German, and we were looking at each other like, this band should do the soundtrack. Had never heard of it. And then our executive producer started Googling and said, it's called Ambassador. Ambassador? We got in contact with them, and this band is an underground dance band which came from the exact same location as our main character in the film. So he was the auditive equivalent, and he got into the editing, and we fixed editing for the music, and he wrote music. So it's like Morricone and Leone, you fix things, because if you're working with a great musician, you gotta give him space.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been to film school, and I enjoyed the part where Tom was kicked out of film school. You just see how phony it can all be, how they set things up. We've got 1,200 spots, and if you get rid of you, we can get another person in that spot. I mean, it was like, sometimes the people in the film industry pretend that they're nicer than the people outside, but they're not really. So it was a lovely moment.
Thank you. Film school is not always the most fun place to be, so.
Thank you. I don't think anybody sort of really captured that quite as much, other than Kevin Bacon did a film that was deconstruction of film school once, The Big Picture. It was sort of like The Big Picture.
I'm gonna watch that. Thank you.
I think we have one or two more questions. Yes.
How much of this was scripted versus improvised?
Well,
Because it was very natural.
almost everything was actually scripted to a
Doesn't seem
certain
like it.
degree. In some scenes we left free for improvising, but then even improvising we went on to work on. But you always had lines, not always on time, but you always had lines.
Yeah, I think, well, we did have scripts, but we also got the time to explore around with the script. So it wasn't literally what was on the script. We just took our own interpretation of it, and then at some points, not at all of them, but yeah.
Yeah. One more question right over here.
Yes, you had mentioned that in the film you found it interesting to have the two guys, one who connected, one who did not really well, with the class and the social surroundings around him. I was just wondering, two questions about that. One, you mentioned some of this was autobiographical. Could you relate to one of those two characters as far as the feeling of connection or the lack of connection that you felt when you were going to film school? And then also for the actors, did that at all align with kind of your own approaches to life? Could you relate to the two characters, you being the connector and you having a hard time connecting with people around you?
Good question, thank you. That lack of being able to connect,
Yeah.
completely biographical. Yeah. Both in the countryside and small town, as during film school. Communicating is not my best quality unless I have the best audience in the world. So, how was it for you?
Yeah, well, I think I'm also a little bit introvert myself, just a bit maybe. Not when I'm drunk, but normally I am. But yeah, this is it. I cannot really relate to Tom. What do you think?
Well, do you relate to Tom?
Yeah, what do you think that I'm related to Tom?
Well, yeah, okay. I think Tom is where you and I meet.
Now, there's one story I would like to tell about Bas. He was not into acting, and he was scouted in a school yard when he was 16 to do a Berlinale film in the lead role. He got to Berlinale, it's fucking amazing. And then, a few years later, he worked on our film, and we asked him, like, how did you learn to act? And he told us that he was really good at lying to his mother. And you can see that on screen, he's the best liar in the world. He made so many jokes on set, we would always believe him. And he's so natural, and Jefferson, you did an insane job too. Would you like to expand on how you could relate to the role?
Well, I think what we did together is made a really honest representation of the queer scene of Amsterdam and of the queer scene on itself. So what I find very touching and challenging myself is to see how to fit into the world and into the city, and I feel like in that way I can relate to both characters, both Tom and Ajani, in a way that people change and people move on way past you before you could even realize they changed, and I think that we really got a chance to capture that. So yeah, I do relate to the characters and the story they go through, I guess.
Thank you all. Thank you.